What's up? What's up? It's been a minute since I've been in the chess booth, you could say. I actually got a message, like I want to say like 48 hours ago, that was like, "Hey Casa, where you been? What's going on?" And I just want to give a shout out to Kevin Johnson. I believe he's the guy that was like, "Yo, what's going on? Why haven't you put a video out?" And honestly, I need reminding sometimes. Like I just do. I mean, I think sometimes you just get caught in this sort of the day-to-day of work and everything, and you forget what you're fighting for. And I need reminders sometimes. And it was really great to sort of get a message to sort of like say, "Hey, get back into it," because I do need to get back into it. And without further ado, we are going to get back into it. So I put myself in the 5-minute pool. I'm waiting, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, it's been a while since I last been here. Carlsen got knocked out of the World Cup by Bu Shangxi. But then he also won a tournament, the Isle of Man, which is pretty cool. His chess game has right now been on fire lately. What else has happened? Oh, we've had our first Chinese first Chinese player in the candidates tournament, which is pretty huge. So tip your hat off to Ding Liren. He played a really fantastic World Cup. I mean, granted, Aronian beat him in the end, and congratulations to Aronian because he's now going to be in the candidates tournament as well. But it's really exciting. It's an exciting time for chess, I'd say. And it's really cool to have open tournaments where strong players are playing and everything. So it's a good time, y'all. Anyways, I'm back in the booth right now, so I gotta focus. This guy's playing a French. I'm gonna play the King's Indian attack, which is one of Bobby Fischer's favorites, which is e4, d3, and knight d2. Essentially, just keeping a close position where Black has to sort of deal with that. And now I'm gonna play e5 and really close the position. Now it gets really, really interesting because White has more space on the king side, but Black has more space on the queen side, and it's always interesting to see how that plays out. All right, so a5. Okay, I'm gonna go knight f1. It's like a typical King's Indian idea. And a4 is this idea is I think Black wants to play a3, and I always learned you want to play a3 before Black does, because to get that dark square wedge would be really annoying. All right, so c5, that's normal. I'm going to go h4, and I'll maybe play knight h2 at some point. Actually, I'm going to do it now. Knight h2, and I'm sort of daring Black to castle kingside, because if Black castles kingside, there will be a wrath, and it won't be pleasant. Okay, knight c6, fair enough, fair enough. I'm going to go knight g4, again, just eyeing that kingside, sort of daring Black to castle. And queen c7 is putting more pressure on e5. So I'm gonna go bishop f4 and sort of reinforce the e5 square. And I don't know, my king is safer. I'm really curious to see where Black is gonna put their king. All right, so knight d4. That's a little bit weird to me. Why is that weird to me? I think it's a little bit early, actually. Because now if I play a takes b4, then they have to take the knight with check before they do anything else. Huh. Yeah, I'm going to take. Because now, and then I'm going to take on b4, and I feel like I might have an advantage here because, well, it just looks sort of weird. Black's position looks a little bit loose. So now do I go bishop d2? Yeah, I'm going to go rook e2. It guards the c2 pawn, and yeah, I think it's okay. All right, a3. All right, okay, I'll take. Bishop c3. Okay, rook b1. I don't like that bishop on c3 long term. I think it's a little bit. It's not going to defend the king side. All right, rook a3. I'm going to go bishop h3 now. I sort of want to focus my pieces on this king on e8 somehow, because this king is looking like it can be mighty weak. Uh-huh. Makes sense. Oh, wow. Queen a5 blunders the b7 bishop. So I think I can go rook takes b7, and that's all she wrote. I mean, rook a1, I just go rook b1 back. So I think that's the game right here. And now I'm going to go back. And, you know, we could trade, but now I'm just up a piece and no problems. h5, I'm just going to go knight h2. I'm going to trade rooks now. Because now, I mean, yeah, bishop takes a1, and now I'm going to go rook e1 back. And the beauty of this move is now I'm hitting the h5 pawn, g6. Now I'm just going to go g4. I'm just going to open this position up because I'm a piece up. This king is weak. Bishop c3, I just go rook f1 to protect that rook. And now g takes h5 is a real threat. I'm going to bust open this position on the king side. Man, the disrespect right now. I'm up a piece, and this dude is still thinking there's something to be fought for here. So, I don't know. But now I'm going to go h5 if allowed, and really open the position. Okay, so resigns. And yeah, a little bit unfortunate for black losing the b7 bishop like that. But, you know, that's what happens, you know, when you're messing with the Don. All right, I can't gas myself up. That was a little bit ridiculous, but. Anyways, you know, the thing about that's the thing about the King's Indian attack. It's very strategic opening, and the positions are pretty unclear. And black had a reasonable position until blundering that bishop, but it was always going to be tricky whether or not black was going to castle, because I had all that space on the king side and was ready to sort of pounce on black castling. Yeah, so I mean, if black ever castled in like this position, I was always ready to sort of take on h6 or sack on h6 somewhere, and it would have been real, real dangerous. So black didn't do it, and eventually just blundered that bishop on b7. So anyway, we're waiting, and yeah, man. I mean, it's like I feel good about playing chess game. Anyways, while I have the chance, I'm actually thinking about, well, I'm really want to sort of build up the community we have here, and I want to create some sort of like newsletter, something that like is like once a week or once a month, maybe even twice a month, essentially sending something to your inbox that's essentially exclusive chess content, analysis, sort of like a cool game or two that I saw, and just share content with you in a very personal way through the email. So, so yeah, I actually have a form. It's going to be at the bottom of this. It's going to be in the description of this YouTube page, and I really encourage you to check this out. I really encourage you to fill out that form because I really want to hear from you. You know, like what type of content you like, what maybe what you would like to see more of, etc., etc. Anyways, back to the game. It's a Caro-Kann. I was always taught, I know my clock is running, but I'm just going to go back here. I was always taught from Capablanca that when they go for this advanced line, they trade the bishops really quickly, you go queen a5 check. And the reason you do this is because after c3, queen a6, they either have to trade queens or they can't castle. So it's always a cool nuance. All right, so c4. Okay. I'm going to go c5, actually, challenge white in the middle before maybe white can clamp down with c5. And I think black should be okay here because black is sort of well positioned to respond to this challenge in the middle. Note that my knight on e7 is covering the d5 square, so if c takes d5, I play knight takes d5 and have this wonderful outpost for my knight. That's why I didn't do that. And I'm going to go rook c8, and again, keeping this tension I think is an interesting play for me because I don't know. I feel like it's workable. All right. All right. So should I reinforce that tension? Yeah, I'm going to reinforce. I'm going to go b6. I don't know how good that is, but I just want to sort of keep that tension in the middle of the board. And yeah, and it's with good reason because now after c takes d5, knight takes d5, I have a wonderful outpost. Huh. Knight c4 is eyeing this knight d6 check. I don't think it's a threat yet, but maybe it will be. I'm going to play b5 because I sort of want that knight to go to d6. Interestingly enough, knight e3 sort of thwarts that idea, thwarts my plan. And I don't really want to recapture on e3 just yet. So I'm going to go knight b4, knight a b4. The idea is after I want to get that other knight to d5 if black recaptures. And I do, yeah, a3 is an interesting move. I do feel like my pieces are a little bit loose. I'm going to take on e3. That was the plan all along, and then put the other knight on d5. Yeah, I think f takes e3 would have been a better decision, because then you would have opened the f file for the rook, and maybe white would add knight g5, which would have been very annoying. Here I'm not really so worried, because my knight is hitting that bishop on e3, and I don't know, I just have a hard time believing that white could be better here. But I am still behind in development. I need to go bishop e7 and then something else. Alright, so rook c1, fair. I'm going to go c4. It's sort of an interesting move, because now I'm sort of walling off that bishop on e3. And knight d2, okay, now I'm going to go c3 and keep that pawn going. So he's going to try and corral that pawn with bishop d2 probably. So I'm going to go king d7. Sort of a weird move, but essentially the idea is to make sure that bishop d2 and that annoying pin was not going to bother me. And I don't know the evaluation of this position, but we'll see soon enough. Alright, king f1. Alright, I'm going to go f5. I need to challenge that knight on e4 before my pawn on c3 becomes more of a weakness than a strength. So that's the idea there. And I don't know if I like en passant by white, because now this knight on e4 is a little bit less stable, and I might be able to hit it with f5. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit it with f5 right now. Put that bishop on g7. Look at the d4 pawn. Now go rook b8. Try to play rook b2 check. Rook b6 I like, because now I'm going to try and double rooks with rook hb8. It's this way of sort of taking control of the file. And now after a takes b6, I'm going to play rook a8 and get this open file on the a line. So I don't like what white has done here, because now this pawn is pretty weak on a3. Yeah, I'm going to go b5, fix that pawn on a3. And it just sort of occurred to me that my h7 pawn is hanging, but I don't really care actually. So if I go b4, he goes a4. Yeah, I'm going to go b4. Oh wow, he goes king a3. I didn't see that. What to do here? What to do? I should have something here. Ugh, how do I break through? Alright, I'm going to make a nothing move. Just go h5. And I'm going to shut up because I'm a little bit low on time. But I feel that I'm better here for sure. I just got to break through. I definitely messed this up in the past few moves, but I was a little bit worried about my clock situation. Man, I was definitely winning there for a second. Oh my gosh, he blundered. He can't come back to the pawn now. Oh, yes he can. I think it's still a blunder though, because now it's again he cannot touch that pawn. The king is in the way. Oh, I'm wrong. Alright, I'm gonna just shut up and finish this game because it's just been a blunderfest. This is just a draw, pretty easily drawn because this knight, I think the king or the knight will be able to stop this h pawn. I'd be surprised if it couldn't. So I'm going to do my best to sort of wall off White's king from getting to h1, but I find it very, very doubtful that I'll be successful. Yeah, dead drawn. Just got to take this pawn and I'm good. Wow, interesting game. I definitely was winning at some point, or very close to winning in the middle game. If I go back to position somewhere around here, maybe bishop g7 was wrong because the a3 pawn was a target, but definitely somewhere around here, I'm doing really, really well, and I shouldn't have blown this the way I did. But hey, that's chess. You know, sometimes you make mistakes, especially when you're commentating. But this idea in the opening too, in the advanced French, in the advanced Caro-Kann, when they go bishop d3 and then queen takes d3, you always have to play e6 first because White might go for this pawn sacrifice with e6, and if that happens, then essentially your kingside pieces can't really develop. So you have to go e6 first. Then after knight f3, you go queen a5 check, and then queen a6. And again, that diagonal is compromised because the because the light square bishops are gone, that you can get away with this. And black only gets really good counterplay here because black has this potential pawn break with c5. So yeah. All right, Asa Gladiator. I know exactly who this is. This is Asa Hoffman. Guy that's sort of been a long-time member and player and a gladiator of the Marshall Chess Club. He's not normally playing the Ruy Lopez though, so I'm a little bit surprised by his choice. Okay, so he's going to go unorthodox. I expected that much. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to play really slow and boring because I think that's the best way to play against him. I'm going to go knight d2, and yeah, f5 is a very interesting move, actually. I'm going to go bishop c4 check and knight g5, trying to sort of punish this early maneuver of White. But I don't know, early maneuver of Black, but I don't know if this is actually good. I don't know. I don't know if what I'm doing is good. Because now queen g6 is very annoying. Something went wrong. I'm going to go bishop e6 because I feel like I have to get rid of those light squared bishops at least. And yeah, all right, queen g6, fair. I'm going to take on c6. Rook takes, and then go knight c4, which attacks this bishop on b6, which is way too strong, and actually covers my g5 knight. But I've definitely been outplayed here in the opening for what it's worth. At least now I get a bishop for my troubles. Yeah, I definitely was a little bit outplayed here, which is always annoying, actually. So I'm going to go queen g4, trade queens, try to extinguish any counterplay that black was imagining having. And black's going to say, no, this is the correct decision to say, hey, I'm not trying to trade with you. My pieces are better. And I'm going to go bishop e3 to cover the f2 square. My plan is to go knight g3, yeah, like this. And I think I'm okay here, but again, black has a very annoying pressure on the f-file. And I'm going to try to continue to trade queens, because that's what you do when you're under pressure. You trade queens. And I feel like I'm under pressure. I feel harassed. So I'm going to play queen h5, secure some light squares, and try to trade these queens. And I'm happy with this queen trade now. Now I'm going to go knight g3, because I didn't like knight f5, yeah. And again, now I feel a little bit better, because I've managed to trade some pieces, and I feel a lot more comfortable with my position. And now he's trying to pressure the d3 pawn, so I had to go c4. But now this e5 pawn might be a target, because it looks a little bit like a backward pawn to me. And I'm just going to load up on it best I can. I'm going to go rook e4, maybe go h4 actually too. Rook e1 and g3 or f3. Go f3. And I feel good because now these pawns are all in dark squares, and my bishop is a dark squared bishop, so I'm going to put a lot of pressure on these pawns. And now this knight on c6 does not look too hot. Now I'm putting a lot of pressure on white's position. Black's position. And now rook takes d4, tactic. Because now that rook on e6 has been weak. That's check. And yeah, now everything will collapse because, again, all these pawns are in dark squares, and they'll just be targets. I'm going to attack g5. Trade rooks, please. I'm happy to trade rooks here. Play g3 to stop any knight checks. And now I just have to find a breakthrough. But I'm confident I'll find one. Yep, now I'm just going to try to trade these rooks. Because this pin, and yeah, I feel pretty good. Now, I mean, see, the thing is his pawns are all in dark squares, so now he has to go knight d7 just to avoid the trade of minor pieces. Oh, he doesn't go there. That's surprising. Because now I can go bishop c7 and just play Pac-Man with these pawns, and I think he's going to resign now. Knight e3, what is he doing? I don't know. I'm going to keep taking these pawns. I have no idea what he's doing. I'm going to take another pawn. Yeah, that's it. And yeah, again, I think once I traded queens and weathered that storm, you could see the transformation of the position. Just all those pawns were in dark squares and became targets, and yeah, and then even the bishop became more powerful than the knight. So yeah, bishop's a long-term piece, man. It does crazy things. So yeah. Anyways, let's look for a new one. Alright, here we go. Maybe I'll play the opening a little bit better than last time. So e4. Go for Sicilian c5. I know I can sometimes play sharp. It's not really my style, but I can try it for the fans out there. And I'm gonna look. Bishop b5 check. That's everyone's favorite move these days. Playing for this sort of anti mainline Sicilian, but it's not so dangerous for black. But it's just very solid for white. So, all right, rook e1. I'm gonna go knight f6. C3. I'm gonna go a6. And oh, taking there. That I did not expect, because now I want to say I can get this e4 pawn for nothing. So I'm going to take that because I think it's for nothing. So this is some sort of gambit, I don't know. But I still don't believe it's so strong, because I want a really important central pawn. I have the bishop pair, and that should be, normally that's enough in a lot of instances. I mean, sure, he can double my pawns, but after bishop takes f6, g takes f6, you see the purpose of this bishop on g6. It becomes sort of a really valuable defensive piece. And alright, c4, I'm just going to take on d4, because why not? Okay. And then just go e6. What's the problem? I don't see any problem. I see myself being a pawn up for really nothing, and that's great. So I feel good. Rook c8, I like this move because I eye the c4 pawn, which maybe was a little bit weak, and maybe he was trying to play bishop takes f6. And now I'm just going to castle, and I'm really just a pawn up here, folks, for pretty much nothing. And I have the two bishops, so sure, white has a little bit of pressure in the middle, but not enough to bother me. And now I'm going to go queen a5 and sort of really start to take some of this space back. Now I have an idea of b5, which would blast open the queen side of white. And note that the c3 knight will feel very, very airy if I get in b5. I also can go queen c5 first to try to trade queens. I mean, that's normally what I do, right? Trade queens. But everything is good here. Everything is pretty good. But I like b5 as a move. That's the move. That's the wave. Someone told me about that word recently, wave. Alright, queen d2. The idea there is to give a little discovery with knight d5, and my queen is a little bit loose. So I'm going to go queen. I want to move that queen somewhere. I'm going to go queen f5. It's sort of a weird place for the queen, but I just think it's sort of interesting. It's just, I can do it, so it's like, why not? I could have put it on a more normal square like c7, but I was just feeling a little bit experimental. I really still want to get in b5, by the way. Alright, knight d4, fair. I'm going to go queen c5. And now I'm trying to play b5. Alright, knight a4, okay. I'm going to go queen c7. Nothing has changed. I still want to go b5. Well, here the knight is also hitting b5, so I'll be throwing e5 first and then b5. Maybe I just sit. Maybe I'm just be patient. I'll play rook e8. What are they going to do? Bishop e3. I'm going to go d5 instead. I can do that too. And yeah, I saw c5, but now I'm going to go e5 and sort of just break in the middle because I have this amazing pawns. And now it's time to use them. Alright, and now d4. Get out of my face. And now I'm going to go bishop takes c5 because that's a free pawn. And you can pin me, yeah, but I don't think it really does much. So I'm just going to go queen d6, get out the way. We could trade. I'm happy with the trade. And note, I don't even mind the double pawns with bishop takes f6, g takes f6, because they just strengthen my center, frankly. So I'm just in business right now. I'm rolling. I am rolling. Oh, knight takes e5. I didn't see that. Should I be worried about that? No, I'm going to just go d3. Hit that queen. And, yeah, there's a lot of saints marching here, and one of them's going to go home. Queen b2. Alright, that's a really extravagant way of trying to protect that. I'm going to go bishop d4, hitting that queen on b2. And again, there's too many things that are just loose and vulnerable, and ouch, I'm hitting so many. I'm hitting the knight on e5, I'm hitting the queen on b2, maybe there's rook c1 at some point. Alright, that doesn't do that much. Rook takes c8. I think I just play rook takes, or I can play bishop takes queen. Which one is better? That's for me to figure out. I'm just going to take here first. And again, I'm still skewering the queen and the knight on e5. So I feel pretty good. Feel like I'm rolling. So, and the clock is ticking. And you know, it's rare that I have an advantage when I'm talking, a time advantage. So that means things are really going well. But again, knight c4, I don't know about that. I can probably just play rook takes c4. There's no back rank mate because my knight is holding e8, so I can get away with that. And yeah, bishop takes f6, I can just go g takes f6. And again, there's still no back rank mate because now my king is the g7 square. So I expect a resignation soon. Alright, a spike check. Okay, queen d2, it doesn't do anything. I'm going to go rook c2, and that should be all she wrote. Yeah. Alright, pretty clean game, I'd say. I would get won a pawn, secured the bishop pair, defended a little bit, broke through. A classic IM recipe. Classic Casa recipe. All right, come on. We need something. I want a game right now. I want someone to make me sweat a little bit, make me a little nervous. I haven't had that yet. I feel like I've just been sort of comfortably rolling, and that's not always the way it needs to be. You know, like things need to be. Anyways, I did say this at the beginning of the video. I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to say it one more time at the end of the video. But please fill out this form that's going to be in the description. It's a really short form. It's just going to be your email, what's your rating strength at, or where you feel your playing strength is at, and then what videos you like, what content you've liked on the site, and what you maybe want to see more of or that doesn't exist. Because really I want to hear from you guys to get a sense of where I should go with my direction. Granted, I'm not going to do everything you guys say. I mean, I am a human being with my own visions and my own direction, and I want to do certain things. But I really do want to get feedback from you guys. So please, please, please fill that out. Back to chess. I like queen trade, so I'm doing this even at the expense of castling, which should tell you a little bit something about how I feel about stuff like this. Alright, so I'm going to go f3, reinforce my pawns. And this is a very interesting position. I think you should have gone bishop c5 first and secured that diagonal, because now I go bishop e3, I get that diagonal, and that's a nice diagonal to have. I'm going to go knight e2, and what's my idea? I think my idea is to go knight c1, and then knight d3. Bishop d4 is a very interesting move. I'm going to go king f2. And I don't really mind if he doubles my pawns, because then there's targets. I'm going to take here and go knight e2. And I want to put a knight on f4. Oh no, c5, that's just a blunder, free pawn. It's amazing to me the mistakes that are made in a position that is with queens off the board. It's amazing to me what happens. It's like they're just brain farts all over the place. Alright, knight e3 is interesting. I think I'm just going to cover that with rook c1. And I feel pretty good here. I'm just a pawn up. Bishop takes a2 I'm not worried about, because his bishop would be trapped after b3. So I'm just a pawn up here in really, really good shape. It's amazing how this works, honestly. And I'm just going to double up, because this pawn on d4 is really weak. I might even play c4, actually. But this pawn on d4 is really weak, essentially. So I can load up on it and just put immense pressure there. Actually, I'm going to play c4. I want to sort of just... Oh, no, and he didn't play en passant. Yeah, now this pawn is really going to be weak. Because now I have knight f4, and it's just really going to... You can't defend it, and you're already a pawn down. And my pawn structure is beautiful. My knights are just dancing around the dark squares. And this pawn on d4 is just going to be a goner. And, ooh, I mean, I can't take right away because of the tactics, but I can just, again, load up on that pawn for pretty much nothing, really. Just a really unfortunate situation for black to be in. b5 doesn't really change the equation, really. Doesn't change it. And yeah, c3 again doesn't change it either. I can just go rook c1 maybe, or rook c2. No, knight takes e6. And now rook d3. There was still a discovery check, which I had to be careful not to miss. But now, thankfully, my rook on d3 is protected by my knight on f4, so I'm good. And that's the game. Man, I made it a little bit dicey at the end there with the tactics, but it's amazing to me the mistakes that flow in a queenless middle game. I mean, right away here, c6 is a mistake. It's a slight mistake. You should play bishop c5 first, in my opinion, to take that diagonal. And then in this sort of fairly innocuous position, bishop d4 might be okay, but to just blunder a pawn with c5 is like really baffling. And that's it. Now this d4 pawn is super weak, and my knights are dancing, and I'm up a pawn, and yeah, and then white and black just sort of trades, which is like not a good thing to do when you're down material. And then I just loaded up on the pawn, honestly. So, anyways, I'll play one more game, and maybe this will be the one where I'm pressed to the precipice, but I haven't really felt that yet. So we'll see. We will see what is going to happen in this one. Yeah. I mean, I think, again, my thing is sort of trading queens and playing pretty boring. I know that's not everyone's thing. It's really important that you play to your style, whatever your thing is, you know? Because that's going to put you in the best position to win. So even though that opening, there was no real chance of getting a serious advantage out of the opening, it gave me the best chance to win because I was comfortable with the position that arose. And that's pretty much all you can ask for when you're playing chess, honestly. So, alright, so this is sort of a Vienna game. I went knight c3 and bishop c4. It's not normally a part of my repertoire, but, you know, you gotta try some things. Have some fun, take some risks. I expect d6 here. Knight c6 is also viable, but d6 seems a little bit more normal. Alright, c6. Wow, just sort of trying to say, no, I'm not going to do anything about that. I'm going to go bishop g5, because now he's sort of declaring his intentions with d5, and I don't like those intentions. Ooh, very tempting. I really want to sack. And whenever you go h6, g5, especially in a blitz game, it just feels very, very tempting to me. It's like you're asking for trouble. And, yeah, so I'm going to go h4. And this is probably not objectively correct, but it's just so interesting. And I just feel like, you know, black is asking for trouble, playing so brazenly with this g5 stuff. b5 I don't like. I mean, I just put my bishop back on b3, and it's actually more secure there. a5 I also don't like, because now I can go a4. And I'm just going to relocate that knight to a better place on g3. Huh. Bishop e6, okay. What's the idea? I'm going to go e takes d5. I don't see the idea yet. Maybe, what am I missing? I'm just going to go queen. Ah! Maybe I just gave white some space in the center? I don't know. Queen f3, queen e3, queen e2, f4. I'm going to castle. Very strange thing to do, but I want to go f4 now. I don't think I'm better. I definitely went wrong here, but it just seems to me that black's position is still loose, and I can get some counterplay there, so I'm just searching for that. Searching for counterplay, like searching for live Fisher. Searching for counterplay here. So where's the counterplay coming from? Maybe I have f5 on deck, maybe. Maybe there's... Alright, now black is trying to play knight g4, but I'm wondering if that's really a problem for me. Maybe I can just give up the exchange there. Yeah, I'm going to go f5. I find it hard to believe the knight f2 is a problem for me. Because if you knight f2 check, I'll just go rook takes f2. And queen g4. And now I'm threatening all types of discoveries, and rook f1 is on tap, and the e6 bishop is hit. I don't like this decision making by black at all, frankly. I think that was I think this is like the nail in the coffin now, because what do you do with all these threats? Oh, you probably capitulate to them, but I just knight f2 is a queen b6. Again, the other thing that's weird is like the queen on d8 was actually doing sort of something lined up against the bishop on g5. So many times you see when the queen moves away from the king, then the attack works. And again, black shedded a defender with this knight on f6, playing knight g4, knight f2 check, and the queen just took a trip around the world and left her highness behind. So strange decision making. It's really strange. All right, so king h8. I mean, okay, like I'm just gonna go rook f1. I'm not gonna even take the bishop right away. I can bring more artillery to the fight. And now queen d4, yeah, and now queen h5. And now I'm spoiled. I'm gonna just take on e6 because there's no need to mess around. But I can go queen g6, queen h6, then take on e6 with check, then bring the bishop to the party. Everything's coming to the party right now. And that'll be it. That will be it. Good game, sir. It might have actually been faster to play f6 and queen h6, honestly. But I don't know. Yep, resigns. Yeah, tough game. I think, again, like, it really did not make sense to go knight g4 and knight f2 check. That would, like, the whole queen b6 knight g4 thing, like, if we go back here, was sort of like, this queen b6 thing was really suspect to me. And then f5, I think it's already problematic. Let me just check this engine right here. The engine's like, yup, problematic. It's like queen d, yup, problematic. Yeah, it just looked wrong to me. And then after knight f2, yeah, too many threats, too many things going on. Just, yeah, a little bit too much. So, anyways, that's all for me in this one. I think I'm going to stop here. I'm going to emphasize again for the last time this time, please fill out the form. Get on the eventual listserv. I'm gonna send you guys some. I got to think about the content and the material first, but I am gonna get some like quality material, quality like sort of like intimate newsletter thing going on with sort of like cool chess resources that I use and that I look at. Maybe like a game of the week or a game of the month, something along those lines. And who knows? Maybe I even share some preparation or something that I've just been looking at. And yeah, let's grow this community, man. Let's make it big. So I'll leave you with that. I think I inundated you enough with material and with talking. And have a good weekend. Peace.